and welcome to Group 3's presentation. My name is Vamik Hassan, and if you look around in class, then you'll probably see me looking all excited, unless you're not in class, in which case it's kind of awkward. Anyway, let's begin our presentation. So the topic that we're going to be talking about today is social responsibility gives important impact to the society and nation. This is going to be the table of contents. These are the major topics that we'll be discussing today. So starting it off from the basic social responsibility, which as we all know is like a moral principle of an organization or individual which acts towards the betterment of society at large. For example, ISR, which is the individual social responsibility, is defined as an individual being aware of how personal actions have an effect on the community. ISR can include the following, like charitable acts, which are philanthropy, which is considered the donation of money. Working for the community, such as volunteering, giving blood donations, working at a food bank, animal shelter, building orphanages, those kind of stuff. And then there are supporting issues that affect society, such as advocating political or social issues that can help others. For example, child labor laws, purchasing fair trade products, recycling, etc. Then there are also individual ethics such as integrity and honesty. These individual ethics can also include the golden rule, which is treat others the way you want to be treated. This might mean with empathy, a sense of fairness, and of course by not judging others based on everything. This is just an overview of the chart we made to discuss the main points. Now moving on to the impact of social responsibility on the society and nation. The theory that social responsibility is built on is that the decisions and actions which are made must be ethically validated before proceeding. If the action or discussion causes harm to society or environment or even an individual, then that would be considered socially irresponsible. Being socially responsible shows both social awareness and self-management skills, that is, an awareness of how our decisions affect others. This responsibility can be active by performing activities that directly advance social goals, or by passively, where you don't engage in harmful acts and you try to be mindful of your surroundings. Every individual can make a small contribution to society, be it any form, from social, natural resources to the things mentioned below. For example, NGOs. This is a very common topic these days, and this is, oh God, how do you pronounce this? Pertubuhan Tindakan Wanita Islam, don't laugh at me. But yes, the PERTV Soup Kitchen, which was established in 2010, aims to provide regular meals at various locations around Kuala Lumpur. Providing food to the people that need it is considered one of the best acts that a man can do on the planet. Example number 2 is going to be Serum Initiative, which was founded during the start of the Movement Control Order in April. Serum is a social enterprise that provides hygiene supplies and economic empowerment to the underserved communities. These are some examples of how we've affected people positively. And example number 3 is Earth Air. Earth Air was founded to serve traditional artisans in underserved communities. And Earth Air's aim is to make sure that these artisans grow, become independent, and develop sustainable livelihoods. This way, the artisan sector as a whole becomes a means for economic development for communities. Earth Air has partnered with the United Nations Refugee Agency to support displaced refugee artisans in Malaysia and provide dignity and income opportunities with their unique talents. Some of the impacts Earth Air has reached so far are these mentioned on the screen right now. Like more than 500 artisans have been impacted by this. Their income which is generated is 500,000 ringgits, and more than 2,500 trees have also been planted. So this is like a huge milestone compared to what has been done before. And our job is to just encourage this kind of behavior. Anyway, my part for now has been done, and my friend Anika is going to be taking over from here.
Hi guys, I'm Anika. I'm going to be talking about the corporate social responsibility. So CSR is when a company goes beyond the expected social requirements for their clients, and corporations can't really brag about their commitment to human rights or excellent environmental policies because that just makes them lame. It's not cool when people brag about what they do, right? That's not very cool. So some of the most common social responsibilities are making investments that are socially and environmentally responsible. So if they buy stuff, I think it's mandatory that they ensure that it's not going to affect the environment in a negative way. Reducing their carbon footprints and addressing climate change. Changing company policies to help the environment. So if they make new rules, make sure it's going to impact the environment positively. Volunteering and participating in charitable activities in your neighborhood. Improving labor policies and embracing fair trade are two things that come to mind. Participate in volunteer work and charitable contribution. So we all know Pfizer, the vaccine company. They are a pharmaceutical firm with a list of charitable organizations that give care and aid to women and children in poverty-stricken areas to increase awareness on non-infectious diseases. One of their major humanitarian efforts was distributing vials of the vaccine during the ongoing pandemic. Wells Fargo is another large-scale company that has an objective of donating 1.5% of their annual income to philanthropic organizations. Now I'm going to be talking about social responsibility in education. Privilege is a right or an advantage. People who are underprivileged lack such rights and advantages. Education is one of, I think, the biggest privileges we have in our life, and this means acquiring knowledge in diverse fields that are vital for our life. Education is the best way for a person to grow and contribute to society, no matter what field we're in, because I feel like whatever everybody studies has an impact on the world, and there are many people who wish to help the unfortunate, and NGOs are one of the means. These organizations have made it possible for gifted and hardworking children to access opportunities to study. Free education by the government. Every person has the right to education. Free education is fundamental in guaranteeing everyone has access to education. In Malaysia, 11 years of education is provided free by the government, primary and secondary schooling. It is not compulsory, yet 99% of all 6-year-olds attend the primary school and 92% of all students go to the upper secondary schools. How can we help the underprivileged in education? Youth serving organizations is one of the many ways. These are organizations that provide service for vulnerable children, include those that focus solely on children and those working with families. Examples: Boys and Girls Club, 4-H clubs, YMCA. Volunteer your time and talents. I'm pretty sure a lot of us have several talents, and we can use those to help children in education. We can teach them on our free times. Host a fundraising event for a non-profit youth serving, and you can start a non-profit tax-exempt organization that expects tax-deductible donations to support you with your work.
Hi, I'm Zafrin, and I'll be talking about carbon dioxide emissions affect society and the nation. So first of all, we all know what is carbon dioxide, but it's a basic thing, but it's very important for the environment. Carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is an important greenhouse gas that helps to trap heat in our atmosphere. Without it, our planet would be inhospitably cold. Increase in carbon dioxide concentrations in our atmosphere is causing average global temperature to rise, disrupting other aspects of Earth's climate. Next up, we have reducing unnecessary waste, because every item generates carbon dioxide during the manufacturing process, and if you buy place, you will also reduce carbon dioxide emissions. If you want to go out, it is recommended to use bicycle, new energy vehicles, public transportation, and other means. These vehicles can effectively reduce carbon dioxide emissions compared to those gasoline burning cars. Participating in tree planting activities when you have time. Each tree contributes to reducing carbon dioxide emissions. Okay, so next up we have Free Tree Society, which are like the environmental NGO which helps spreading stewardship. So we have the engagement. By planting the trees, we can contribute with regarding these 4 main points, which are the waste management, harvesting, biodiversity, and of course gardening. So next up we have the examples of Free Tree Society, which is known as Knowing Climate Reality, which takes 30 to 45 minute sessions, which means the learn the science, impacts and solutions for the climate crisis. Next up we have giveaway days, get a tree, which is for people from all walks of life. Next up we have planting the environmentally friendly lands. So now we have the current results. So the current results in some public awareness campaigns, there are capacity building workshops, tours and volunteer sessions. They're educating always.
Thank you very much, Jafrin. Now, my name is Abdul, and I'm going to start with water scarcity. So first of all, people don't know that water is actually very scarce, because we have a lot of water in the earth. Like around 70% of the earth is covered with water. Hence, one can easily make the mistake thinking that we will always have more than enough. But it's not that simple, because water we drink, bathe in, and use in farming, etc. is known as fresh water, which is very rare. There's only 3% of fresh water. The other 97% are oceanic water, which are salty, and 2/3 of the 3% are in glaciers, so they're ice. We can't drink them. So that's the issue with water. So water unavailability is caused by physical shortage or because of the absence of adequate infrastructure in the country, where maybe some countries don't have tank water to keep water in or water reservoirs. So due to the issue of water scarcity, around 1.1 billion of people don't have fresh water access. So 2.7 of the people are those who at least once a month find water scarce. Also, 2.4 billion are exposed to diseases such as typhoid fever, cholera, and other water-related sickness due to the inadequate sanitation. Most of the water schemes that keep the ecosystem booming and provide human population are tense. Lakes and rivers and other water bodies are either too polluted or too dry, which results in the disappearance of half water in the world's wetlands. And the next thing is that the situation was in the future because the water will just dry out because the water bodies in the world are drying out. So next up, globally, 70% of the fresh water is used in agriculture. So in South Asia, most of the fresh water is used in agriculture, as you can see, whereas in Europe and Central Asia, less of it is used in agriculture, but more in domestic use. So now we can see the projected water scarcity in 2015, where in Africa, there are a lot of orange areas where there's economic water scarcity. Responsibility. So because of water shortage, we must take action, of course. We must make sure that we don't waste a lot of water. We must use water conservatively, and we should only take like shower for 5 minutes a day, I think. And we should only flush after we actually use the toilet properly, I think. So if you look at this problem on a larger scale, then we should take part in water saving drives and awareness programs to educate people to not waste water. Also, we should reuse the water known as the water reclamation or the water cycle by different procedures available as osmosis process to social responsibilities during hardships. So as you all heard, recently Malaysia has had a devastating flood around the populous Klang Valley area. It has been reported as of December 21 that 20 people have passed away and 65,000 residents have been moved away because of flood. While many blame the government for the delayed actions, good people have started helping out the people who have been flooded by bringing food, helping with numerous things such as washing dirty clothes or dishes or evacuating their homes and giving groceries and necessities. This act itself is known as the social responsibilities we feel when our nation is taking a toll and we have to help them out somehow. For example, housewife Ika Fikris, 29, said she was prompted to offer laundry services after seeing the aftermath of the floods. She said, "I don't have much money, but I have some energy to spare. So this is me contributing to the society because kita jaga kita. We look after ourselves," said the mother of the one who lives in Shah Alam, Selangor. Now I'm going to pass it on to Wamik to do philanthropic responsibility.
Hello everyone, I am back and we're going to top off our topic with the most important one, which is philanthropic responsibility. Now, philanthropy is an act which is dedicated towards helping others. You gain very little from it, but the others gain a lot. Basically, philanthropy is the act of helping others, which can be done by donations, charities, building stuff for the public, and just general goodwill. A few examples we have here is Andrew Carnegie has built 2,500 libraries around the world. Now, this isn't exactly something to do with giving others money, but this is education. Again, a topic of philanthropy. The Ford Foundation, established by Atlas Ford, has served the main purpose of strengthening democracy, improving economic opportunities, and helping people with further education. Millions of local associations raise funds which offer assistance, and people can participate in that. Now, this does not only have to be done by the people who are rich. In fact, students can do it too. Here in Malaysia, students volunteer to help people at children's hospitals or build orphanages, kindergarten, stuff like that. There are many acts of philanthropism around the world. The benefit of this is that the government tries to help people, but normal philanthropy on a private scale by small people builds a society. It makes people stronger. It has promoted volunteering because when one does it, then others feel the compulsion to do it. So one good act always inspires another. And as we volunteer, we work for the society. It strengthens our bonds, as I mentioned, and this also makes the society a lot stronger. Volunteering encourages people to become more active in civic involvement and civic responsibility. A lot of people, when they're sitting in their home and not doing much, they don't exactly know what responsibilities the civics need to provide. So once they start taking parts in all these donation activities, they learn these responsibilities themselves. However, this does not just benefit the others, there are also some benefits for ourselves. Example, volunteering has a significant impact on volunteers as individuals, allowing them to improve their self-esteem, develop new skills and capabilities, broaden their job options, and live a healthier physical and mental life. In conclusion, philanthropy is a way to fight global and local threat. Everyone that does it or receives it is making the world a better place to live in. I'm going to top off our presentation by saying that one cannot change the entire world by helping one person. However, when you do help one person, you're changing their world.
Terima kasih.